Good morning, New Life. My name is Cordelia, and at this time in the service, we like to take out a few minutes to just shed some light on what God is doing in the midst of his people here at New Life. This morning, I have Lucas, Topher, Jameson, and Sophia with me. I'm ready to share a little bit of how y'all had a trip to South Dakota, right? So super excited to hear about that. Lucas, could you share a little bit about yourself in this trip to South Dakota?
Sure, my pleasure. So my name's Lucas Johnson. I have been a member here a little over 2 years. I'm one of the youth leaders with Elevation Youth. I work at Cerner full-time, healthcare technology. To give a little bit of background about the trip and why we went last week. So the genesis of it was my fiance's family owns a company called Van Duit, who sponsored or co-sponsored this trip with Samaritan's Feet, who is another just awesome organization that distributes shoes all over the world, millions of shoes, primarily in developing countries. Mm-hmm. But this year, due to COVID, they were really focused on the United States. Mm-hmm. So took to the kind of Indian reservations and had the opportunity to, in partner with them, distribute around 1,200 shoes to kids that, otherwise were barefoot or coming with holes in their shoes. Or duct tape pulling their shoes together. So we were able to give them a good pair of shoes, new pair of shoes going into the winter season. So it was a good opportunity to love on them, serve, and connect, as Elevation Youth would say.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Topher, could you share a little bit about what school you guys go to, what grade, and just share a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course. So my name's Christopher, but I go by Topher. All three of us go to Lincoln Prep. I'm a freshman, and they're both juniors.
Nice. So could you guys share just a little bit about, what is your favorite food? I would love to hear that.
Lasagna, hands down.
Vodka, rigatoni, pasta.
Nice.
Mine is pasta da Vinci.
My favorite food is spaghetti with meatballs.
Man, look, y'all are very fancy. I have to say, I love pizza and ranch, and that is good enough for me. But could you guys share just a little bit more about your trip? I would love to hear, what it was like for you guys.
So probably the most inspiring thing that I saw was just how respectful and kind they were to us. I mean, especially all the bad blood just in American history with Native American people, just to see the compassion they gave us, the grace, they taught us about their culture. They were just always very respectful to us. And just to see those kids' faces when they got that new pair of shoes, it was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So one thing that I took away from the trip was that when you think of a third world country, you think of Africa or somewhere else besides the United States. But little do we know that less than 1,000 miles away, you have a third world country, pretty much. I mean, we drove in the reservation and you have houses being boarded up because they're meth houses. And it's just cool to see that when people have so much less than you, they can still have more joy. And so it was just really cool to see them get that pair of shoes.
Yeah, so what impacted me the most was when we were at this one Indian reservation, and these two girls came up to get their shoes, and they just didn't have any shoes on, and they had really dirty feet, and it was really cool to see them get a new pair of shoes and how happy they were to get it. So that was special.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And so, Lucas, could you share just a little bit of why is it so important to you to do ministry with youth and to take part in doing stuff with the youth?
Of course. I just view the teenage years to really be the most formative and seminal, in your life. Really, when I look back on my life, the verse that I often reference relative to this is Proverbs 22:6, which says, "Start youth off on the right way, and even when they're old, they will not turn from it." So that resonates with me. I think about the analogy of being at the helm of a sailboat. All these 1, 2, 5 degree shifts can make all the difference. So pouring into them early, super important. They keep me young. I just love being able to spend time with them, love on them, grow together. Yeah, it's my jam.
Yeah, nice. That's really cool. Well, guys, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, and hope you guys have a good rest of your Sunday.